Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and the market is having a little pullback this morning. We were at I think we were at 1.7 trillion last night or yesterday, and then now we're at about 1.56 trillion. And looks like Bitcoin's at 35, XRP's at 87. I was going to show you, Dark Defender had kind of weighed in on this. He says, hi there. After the ABC correction, XRP is continuing the second wave. It seems the third wave had started, but based on the last candles, we are still in EW2. Supports 80 cents, 75 cents, 65 cents. Targets $1.26, $1.33, $1.75, and $2.30. And if you look here, he says, I don't expect to go below 80. This area is the EW3 triggering area. If XRP breaks down, 74 cents, 65 would be in play. So he says he doesn't expect it to go below 80. Let's hope we do not. Then Mr. B this was a good tweet from yesterday. Don't forget all those financial institutions waiting on the sidelines for XRP to break the chains of the SEC. We have been waiting for a bull run so long, we sometimes forget it has massive global utility yet to be realized. Yes, sir. Now, this one was like, sometimes you watch an interview and you're like, wow, you're watching it and you're like, wow, man, this person is laying it on thick. Well, this interview right here had more BS. It inspired me to make a little comedy clip, but it had more BS in it. And what was funny about this interview, this was Julia Chatterley with Michael Saylor. What was funny about it is that Julia Chatterley is sharp, and she smelled the BS, and you can see it, and you can see it in her questions, and you can see it in her facial expressions. It's really unbelievable. Watch this.
On that journey, it's a small price to pay.
You know, there will be those that look at this and say, but give me the investment case relative to other next generation cryptocurrencies in that regard. What's superior about Bitcoin protocol relative to others?
Bitcoin is the dominant crypto asset network, and if you want a lot...
Okay, first let me address that. Bitcoin is only the dominant crypto network because someone in a high castle somewhere said, hey, we're only going to give Bitcoin and Ethereum regulatory clarity. We're going to come out, we're going to get our guys, we're going to get the SEC to walk to the microphone and just proclaim those two. They're not going to say that it's the official position of the SEC, but we're going to get these guys to go out and say that these two are not securities, thus making them the only two digital assets for the last 2 or 3 years that had any kind of clarity. That's the reason they have the most. Now, I believe a lot of things are about to change. Let's listen to the rest of what this bull crap that he says.
Duration asset that's going to last for 100 years. You need to completely decentralize it and make it permissionless. And you need to also thermodynamically embed it in the firmament of the world. And so,
now, when he said thermodynamically embed it in the world or whatever, that's when my BS meter just started going off the charts, and I think hers did too. In fact, you can see her kind of perk up, and then she makes a smart aleck comment to him about it as well.
The architecture of Bitcoin ensures that it will be embedded in the reality of the laws of physics because it uses energy, and it also ensures that it will be politically supported because there are actually facilities and political jurisdictions that are supported by those governments. And in the absence of the Bitcoin mining operations, which provide security to this asset, we wouldn't have the political support, nor will we have the link to physical reality and thermodynamic soundness necessary for...
What is he talking about? Thermodynamic soundness? What is he talking about?
Long-term bets over the course of years and decades.
It's a long time since I studied thermodynamics. I was just trying to process.
That right there is her way, in a nice way, of saying you are full of you know what. Now, this inspired me. I literally woke up this morning. I said, I got to do it. These guys, these guys are, and I actually, I've been guilty of BSing in my life before. I went to Ireland when I was a young man, and I remember we were in one of those, not a bar, they don't call them bars. I'm not drawing a blank on it because we were drinking Guinness. I remember that. We were in a pub's, what I'm trying to say. We were in one of those Irish pubs, and this Irish girl literally told me, she said that I needed to tie buckets around my ankles to catch all the shit I was talking, and she was right. I did. But anyway, so I put this little clip together, and I'm not going to play it, but you need to go watch it at my Twitter feed. And it's got Michael Saylor on here. It's got him from that clip. It's another clip from that. And then it also adds the classic with Brad Garlinghouse and Anthony Pompliano, where Pompliano said that China could not do anything about Bitcoin, basically. And then at the end, my favorite clip from one of the best movies of all time, which was Vacation, where Chevy Chase's character, Clark Griswold, has just been caught in the pool with Christy Brinkley, and his son, he thinks his son's still this naive young kid that doesn't understand what's going on. He's trying to BS his kid, and his kid looks at him after his whole BS story and says, "You think Mom will buy it?" That's what I was thinking when I was listening. I have seen countless interviews now with Saylor and with Pompliano where they say things and you can tell the look on their face after they say it. You can tell they've got that "you think Mom will buy it" look on their face. And that's why I put this little montage together. So you need to go check that out. I'm not going to play it because I know it'll be a copyright hit with the Vacation movie clip. Okay, now this maybe I should have figured this should have popped into my head earlier, but something popped in my head yesterday afternoon. Remember this from James Phelan? Okay, he had put out this the other day. It was one of the back and forth motions in the SEC versus Ripple case, and it had shown the people that were going to be deposed in this. These were some depositions, right? And it had, all the people you would think: Chris Larson, Brad Garlinghouse, David Schwartz, all the people at Ripple. And then they went to people who no longer work at Ripple, like Miguel Valles, and there's several others on this list that no longer work there, like Ethan Beard's one I know off the top of my head. I can't remember if Ron Will is still there. I don't think this guy is still there. But I was looking at that, and then I was driving down the road yesterday, and this thought popped in my head. Jed McCaleb was the freaking creator of the XRP ledger. Why on the planet Earth would the SEC not want to depose him, but why would they not, in conjunction with going after Ripple, go after Jed McCaleb and maybe even Stellar? I don't even know. Why would they not? But of course, even if you don't go after them, why would you not want to talk to the actual creator of the XRP ledger? Why would he not be on that deposition list? I think there's a lot of smoke there. Okay, and then there's another question. This guy, he was one of the creators of the XRP ledger too, and he's no longer with Ripple, just like Miguel Valles is no longer with Ripple. Why does the SEC not? And Arthur Britta is the guy who's nobody's ever seen his face. So I got two questions there. Since when does the government respect anybody's privacy or anything when they're after you? Why are they not wanting to? A, why do they not want to talk to him? And B, are they respecting his privacy? And are they okay with him not wanting people to see his face? What in the world is going on with that? What in the world is going on? Doesn't make any sense. I smell rats everywhere. None of this makes any sense. And that's why I'm so convinced that this goes away, because not one single part of the picking winners and losers, going after Ripple when you don't go after Ethereum. And Ethereum is obviously, Ethereum is more obviously a security than just about anything in this. You don't do anything to them and you go after this company. Something is way, way off here, and this is why I'm so convinced that this goes away, because none of this makes any sense. None of what's being done makes 1 ounce of sense, and the public knows it. You know, it's like those clips of all those Bitcoin guys saying all that stupid stuff, thermonuclear or thermodynamic. I mean, it's a bunch of BS. And what's going on here is a bunch of BS. And people aren't stupid. And I know that a lot of times, a lot of these Ivy Leaguers and government officials and bureaucrats, they make an assumption that out here in flyover country we're all stupid or something. That is an incorrect assumption. There's a lot of really smart people who were not born with those kind of connections or didn't go to their schools and all that. But the people out here are not dummies just because they didn't happen to be born in a certain geography where they're considered to be in the club. There's a lot of really smart people out here, and we can smell bullshit a mile away. I'll say the word. I don't cuss on this channel much, but I smell some total BS in this and all the stuff that's being spouted that's not true. This crap about Bitcoin's the best technology and proof of work. Everybody knows that's not true. You can say what you want, but come on, there's people out here that are smart, not idiots. Come on, people. There's a lot more going on than meets the eye here. Okay, and then we've got this from Anders L. Look at this. This is really smart right here. Anders L. 2 latest additions to Ripple's board of directors. Strange coincidence. LIBOR plus gold. Sandy O'Connor and Rosie Rios. And he's talking about the LIBOR scandal. Financial institutions colluded with each other to manipulate the LIBOR rate. Many leading financial institutions were implicated in the scandal, including Deutsche Bank, Barclays, Citigroup, JP Morgan, and Royal Bank of Scotland. There's more than USD 400 trillion in loans, securities, and derivatives contracts globally exposed to LIBOR. This is Sandy O'Connor. And then it says, one way that she pushed for change is by representing JP Morgan on a long list of industry forums, including serving as a chair of the Federal Reserve Committee charged with creating an alternative to the London interbank offered rate. And then you go down and he added this: commercial banks manipulation of interest rates, LIBOR. They removed LIBOR. Manipulation of gold, change under Basel III. Banks' information advantage, change under open banking, further reducing their power. CBDCs, democratization of value flow, RippleNet. And then he's got this part where Rosie Rios comes into play. Under Basel III rules, banks require a provable 1-to-1 ratio of physical gold. This changes everything. Now, remember, we showed you a clip on this channel. Rosie Rios, when she was the treasurer, she was literally in charge of Fort Knox and keeping track of the U.S. gold reserves. Then it goes on. This could be the end of naked shorting and manipulation we've seen over the years. It could be the end of some banks. Well, let me tell you what I think it is. What I think is that all of this gold goes on the XRP ledger. I think that the purpose of XRP, one of the purposes, is to solve the transferability problem of gold. Gold is God's money. Gold will always be around. But you put it on the ledger, then it can be transferred and tracked and moved in 1 to 2 seconds, 3 seconds. Transferability problem. Remember that Bloomberg video that was put out a year or so ago out of nowhere? Said gold had a transportability problem. And then it goes on. Blockchain startup Ripple said Tuesday it appointed former U.S. Treasurer Rosie Rios to its board as the company battles lawsuit from Securities Exchange Commission. She also oversees the gold reserves at Fort Knox. This is what she said in that video I played the other day. Great thread. And then here is another good thread from I Am Legion. I Am Legion is both these guys are 2 of the better researchers in this in XRP land, big time. It's like David Schwartz said. You can see it is an incredible quick or incredible slow, depending on the time frame you think is reasonable. I would say revolutionizing international finance is not something you would expect to happen overnight. This is David Schwartz talking.
I would agree that adoption of digital assets has been a little slower, you could see it as being incredibly quick or incredibly slow, depending on what time frame you think is reasonable. I would say revolutionizing international finance is not something that you would expect to happen overnight. But it is a multi-step process, and I think the first problem that we encountered, I mean, we kind of thought that we could take a direct line to settling with a digital asset, and I think a lot of people thought that, well, now we have digital assets, let's just use them for payments, and that'll be that. Part of the problem...
All right, so, and then he's got this thread going here. Many people feel like it's taking forever for Ripple XRP to become global standard, like Cattell said, but take a good look at Swift's history. See, this is interesting. He points out, this is the elephant in the room here. I mean, this is obvious. Blockchain is new norm, and Ripple XRP has overcome the legal hurdles. It took Swift 16 years to go from 239 banks in 73 to 2,814 in 1989. Took Swift 47 years to go from 2,239 banks in 73 to 10,800 in 2020. And so he makes that's a very, and then he goes on to say Ripple's only 9 years old. Exactly. But I think that things are accelerating fast. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe. Hit the like button and tell your friends and family they should go give a follow to at X_Anderson and to I Am Legion, which is at PAI. I've always hated, I've always loved his research, but I've always hated how long his thing is because it's so hard for people to remember. I wish he had created a small one from the beginning. He didn't, so you got to figure out how to follow him anyway because he's very well worth it. At PAISAN 2684980. Give him a follow. Thanks for listening.